Hey everyone, it's Inspector Talon, and we are back with another snapshot video. They added some pretty good fixes and have definitely heard our feedback, and so I am very excited to talk about some of these changes. First thing, I forgot to mention in the last video, they actually made some changes to cart pickup and the consistency. In the prior snapshot, it was actually only the pickup size was only the size of the cart, and that was a bug, and that has now been fixed. As you see, the wither skeleton has been picked up, and these have two. um, I've seen some things about it not being 100% reliable, so this may still need some work, but this is still much better than the old system we had. Second thing they changed, they have reintroduced snapping or dispensing carts into stacks. And let's see here. So as you can see, they all dispensed. I'm very glad that they have changed this back. So now storage tech can rest a little easy. Piston bolts are also back. So as you can see, the cart snaps into the piston and is able to progress forward. This also works for the traditional bolt as well as the demi bolt, and the diagonal piston bolt is also back and running. I am very thankful that they fixed this. Part of the fix is, as you can see, they maintain their alignment whenever they're snapping onto the rail. So, really great. Thank you, Mojang, so very much. Cart eating, now that the alignment has been fixed, is technically back. As you can see, the cart goes into the hopper below this cauldron, and it snaps. I don't have a hopper for this one, but you see that it snaps through the carpet and the lily pad, or um, well, those are actually the only two blocks, and we'll talk about that change later. But there are some issues. So if I make it a hopper cart with items inside, you'll see that it actually picks up the sandstone first rather than the cart. The reason for that is the cauldron no longer does damage twice to the cart in one game tick. This was a bug before, and it was incredibly useful because it meant that you could kill the cart before it ever uh, had the opportunity to take an item out from this hopper. And that allowed for cart eating separation with the hopper. And the unfortunate thing about that is the cart health is based on wobble. It's this weird health value, and each tick of damage with the lava does 40 wobble, which is the amount necessary to kill the cart. But unfortunately, you need to deal more damage a second time for it to actually kill the cart. And so, lava, cactus, fire, all the damage types, or all the blocks that can deal damage, take two game ticks or two sources in order to kill the cart. And that is very unfortunate. So, yes, there is a fix where you can pre damage the cart with another cauldron and then it will instantly die here. But the unfortunate thing about this, and this is also a bug, the unfortunate thing about this is that you'll still have to rebuild a lot of prior infrastructure. Things like the chest stacked cart yeeter would work because it actually killed the cart in two game ticks and it didn't really matter as much. But things like these types of yeeters are um, unfortunately going to require a lot of modification if they keep this change. I personally would like to see that either the Cauldron kills them instantly or all damage types kill in one game tick. That would be very ideal. So moving on, we have the Stacked Cart Eater, and as you can see, it does not clip through the block. This is a big issue for a lot of things. Obviously, this is another type of eater, and um, it, the other stacked cart eater would use a trapdoor, but that also, as you can see over here, does not clip through the block. I can retract this lever, and you see that it goes through the carpet, but this is the only block now. The soul sand and the mud and things like that, these are very important for being able to get a signal through. You can see that lamp in the back, and it did snap through there because the hitbox changed, but it's it's very unfortunate that they changed this. I suspect the reason for why may have been that it makes the jumping a little bit smoother to not have it clip down a full block, but this change breaks a lot of tech. Um, I would recommend reverting this. I know that if it was because of the sloped rails, it looks a little bit smoother, but having this behavior is so incredibly useful for wiring and for tech in general. And most of the time, I don't think that the snapping behavior before would have really impacted the average player base much at all. Moving on, they have fixed some of the sloped rail issues. So in the prior snapshot, this would have shot through the block. Um, and now it collides with the blocks. You could see that it's stopping on these blocks. It doesn't stop with this one. Methods was the first I saw to mention this change, and there are a lot of contraptions that use fence gates. However, you can fix it by rotating the fence gate. So I'm not sure if it's the biggest issue for this in particular, but um, this may become a problem, and I'll talk about that in a bit. So there are some also some other goofy bugs. If you have a block here, um, it will still fly through. Let's see if I can get it to work. Let's see. It's not wanting to snap through, but perhaps did I set it up incorrectly? I'm not sure, but it can fly through the block. MBD was the one to show me the setup. I think I'm doing it incorrectly right now, but that's okay. And then there's also like I'm not sure what's going on with the powdered snow. This may be because of the fix with the carts flying up really quickly, but I'm not entirely sure. But there's still some weird things going on with the sloped behaviors, and I'm glad they are addressing them. So, thanks to the collisions, now the mangrove elevator or the rootivator is back. However, due to those same collisions, now soul sand based cart eating no longer works. Um, this is pretty unfortunate. I'm not sure how I feel about this because on the one hand, it doesn't really make sense for the cart to just fly through the block, and that makes sense. It does make sense to stop like this. But on the other hand, this clipping behavior was something that was relied on by a lot of tech, and there might be alternatives, but it will require quite a bit of rewiring. So I'm a little bit on the fence about this change. We'll have to see exactly what the ramifications of this particular change are. I would like to see maybe some alternative that's intentional in game. So, like some block that it could clip through or something like that. Something intentionally added to allow this the prior behavior. because I also don't really mind this either, and I think this is probably healthier. It does get kind of weird though, so it doesn't quite stop on the powered rails like it would before, so it'll just go all the way through. And then for this one, it just doesn't work at all anymore for the same reason here. So I'm not entirely sure. Um, Overall, I am really, really happy to see that they are listening to us and that the feedback is being implemented in game. Honestly, it's so great. I hope that the community can maintain some patience as we deal with these changes and try to figure out what works for everybody. And I think that um, overall, this is a pretty solid snapshot minus the snapping change there. One thing I know that I mentioned in my cart update video, or what updates do carts need. One thing I mentioned was don't touch rail placements. However, in the last year, my opinion on that has sort of shifted um, due to know to name making the rail placement feature in the mini minecarts mod for me, and it is so intuitive for rail placements. It pretty much makes it where whenever you shift, it places exactly how you would want it. So if I were to place it here, it would place the slope. If I look here, it would place the curved rail. It is so great and makes life so much easier. And it is very similar to the stair behavior, which is something we already have in game. I love it so much. It makes life so much easier. So, Mojang, I would love it if you would consider something along these lines. I think that the rail placement behavior that we have now is interesting, but after having used the mod for so long, I can tell you that it does get better. And thank you, MBD, for helping me set up this world, as well as everybody listed in the credits here for these bug finds. And thank you all for watching.